This is a listed building. It's a house really which doesn't want to be surveyed, as we'll discover later, but it's built circa 1800. You can just about gather from the front elevation that there is a little bit of a vertical line to the right hand side of the second window from the left, and you can also just about make out the remains of a door opening in the middle of the picture. So it was evidently two cottages once upon a time. Terrace of four, but it's one of a pair of semis now. It's built, well, you can see to the right there's a high retaining wall, and the land the other side of that is up to first floor windowsill height, so the back end of that house is subterranean. We can't get into the field at the back. I've been for a bloody long walk to try and get in there, and I can't find a way in, so I've not been able to look at the back of the house other than sticking the camera out the window. Anyway, what can we say about this place? It has two rebuilt chimneys. There's a stone one on the right hand side, that's a party structure, and a brick one on the other side. Both of them are missing lead flashing, so that is to say the neighbours have fitted lead flashings to their side of the party chimney, but no lead flashings there, so we're relying on cement fillets there to keep the rain penetration out of the joint between the roof and the chimney. That chimney needs a bit of repointing. On the top we can see some kind of tiles being placed over the top of one of the flues, so that's to stop rain penetration and jackdaws stuffing things down the flues. But yeah, a little bit of refurb required to that chimney. This one, not so much. The roof has a covering of clay double Roman tiles. This is just a description of the shape of the tiles. They are double tiles. They're alright, aren't they? Up by that chimney there's one which appears to be standing a bit proud, and somewhere else, I can't see it now, down towards the bottom, somewhere about there's a broken one. No real problems. I'm going to attempt a survey of the rear roof through this window, which not only have got to cope with the eaves overhang, we've got wire mesh and bars. I mean, not dissimilar to a prison, and a window that opens outwards as well. So I'm going to shove a camera on a pole out here and see whether anything happens. The windows to this part of the house are offset, as in they're not built one above each other, so that's sort of spreading the load of the wall more evenly across the foundation. Those two over there are built directly one over the other, so there is a greater load to the right hand side and left hand side of the windows, so that can sometimes result in settlement issues, but there aren't any with this property, with all the window openings being really quite straight, level, unmoved. Somebody's been doing a few bits of repair with lime mortar, so the limestone's very weathered, isn't it? Very pitted, very shelly stuff there, and it's been made good with lime mortar as far as possible. The ground floor has probably been rebuilt, but that makes these things interesting. You don't often see plastic pipes sticking out of a wall like that. Bits of wire in there to stop rodents getting in there. I guess what they're for is to let rainwater that's accumulating behind the house trickle out, but how you persuade all the rainwater or groundwater to kindly divert itself into those pipes, I don't know. I suppose it's something rather than nothing, isn't it? But I don't know they're going to make that much difference. There is no access to the roof space from this house, which is a bit of a problem, so well, we can't do a roof inspection. Except that this timber here is a tie beam, and there's three of those. So there's one, and that'll be in the left hand side of what was two cottages. These two are in the right hand side of what were once two cottages. That one you can at least see from the woodwork, it's a piece of oak. And there's the other. So it's reasonable to assume that there are 3 king post roof trusses up there. That's about all I can say about that. Well, one other slightly strange feature I found is there's a few of these. What is that doing? It's sitting in the wall. Is it just providing a bit of intermediate support to ceiling joists? Not quite sure how. It's got no bearing on the other end. Bracing a joint, I don't know what it's doing. But there's a few of those. We have exceedingly bulgy lath and plaster ceilings. Somebody's been making a horrible job of filling cracks, but the cracks are all there again. So I don't know how stable those are. Sometimes it helps to give them a little push, but I'm not sure I dare. The plaster finish to them seems to be very, very thin as well, because we can kind of see the outline of all the laths as well, which is a bit unusual. There is a history around here, I believe, of making region plaster ceilings. I've never really seen one. And maybe this peculiar look to these is because they're not lath and plaster ceilings, but region plaster ceilings. I wouldn't like to say, but they do look exceedingly vulnerable. And the wallpaper's been applied to some very lumpy plaster, so I suspect if somebody wants to pull that off, quite a lot of plaster is going to come off the wall with it. Replastering will be required. So far we think we might need to renew the ceilings and replaster. So here's the staircase, and rear bedroom, and ground level is just down there, so it's not up to first floor windowsill if I said that before, but it's well up above first floor level. Therefore, with some inevitability, we're going to have a damp penetration problem. Something that a conventional damp-proof course won't help with. So here we are, rear right corner of the house, first floor, and we've got very blistered paint finishes there. The floor decking's been replaced with chipboard, and we've got moisture penetrating the chipboard as well. And that is a bit soft and quite clearly a bit damp. So one has to assume that floor joists will be decaying as well. And this is upstairs, so heaven knows what's happening downstairs. I mean, should I? I won't. Should I lever those up? Not really allowed. This is the landing again, and some kind of dry lining's been applied to that part of the wall. The wall obviously thickens a little bit. No dry lining there, but it varies, doesn't it, this wall? Because there's a dry lining to that part. Right, anyway, so that's the back of the house. Ground floor, we're now well below floor level. Well below ground level is what I'm trying to say, and you can see a lot of yellow staining to that wall there. Where the dry lining's been applied, it's better, but there's a bit of staining there. I've had a prod with my damp meter, and basically it's damp everywhere. That's the flank wall to the property, where it's discoloured, so we can see moisture's accumulating in the wall there, migrating forwards. There again, we've got a bit of moisture migrating into this partition here. And if we go into the left-hand side reception room, we can see the same thing. Well, not really, but this is a dry lining, which you can see is a bit stained, isn't it? I think that's something else, though, really. I probed it, it's damp, just take my word for it. And you can imagine, if the masonry wall behind here is filling up with moisture, it's not going to stop there, is it? It's going to migrate into this one. That's going to want to stick to ground level, and when you get over here, we're towards the front of the house, and we've got a very wet wall there, and it's mad, dampness gone mad there. So we do have those two pipes which come under the floor. So this will be a, oh, somebody wants me, modern concrete floor with pipes underneath it. So this is the front wall of the house, and you can see a bit of decay in the skirting board. See quite a lot of decay in the skirting board there, and you will also notice that by and large there aren't any skirting boards, because what's the point if they're going to rot? This post is playing quite an important load-bearing function, I suspect, but it too is at least moderately affected by dampness, and with that woodworm as well. Yeah, so we've got a damp problem which isn't going to go away, so either some sort of major tanking exercise has got to be undertaken, or I don't know, expose all the stone and tolerate it, or dry line it, insulate it with dry lining, all sorts of things one could do to make it less worse. This is a principal floor joist, so that extending from side to side rather suggests that the floor joists that you can't see are extending from front to back. We've got a couple of posts in the wall there. I don't suppose they're both original, are they? We've got a joint there with a post underneath it. Maybe that joint got a bit suspect, so they put another post in. Is that possible? But anyway, those are supporting the principal floor joist, which does extend through to what was the house next door once upon a time. It's a bit of a ragged old timber, isn't it? Wonder how much depth it really has to it. And there is the first floor, and it's possibly the most dished floor I've seen. So why would it be that shape? Because I think we decided, didn't we, that the floor joists are going from front to back. So why is there a great big dish in the floor there? Is it just a smaller joist in the middle, so the decking's gone down to meet it? Without ripping out all the carpets, we won't know. And there's the other side of the house, and once again we've got quite a significant dish towards the middle of the right hand side of the floor. It's not really easy to get access to the floor. We've got a carpet that's fixed down, we've got old linoleum over the top of the carpet, then we've got hardboard over the top of whatever, which is probably the floorboards. So I don't think I'm going to be able to easily expose the floor for a better inspection. But my guess is that this is a house built with hand-cut timbers, and it's always been a bit uneven, but that does seem to be unusually uneven. Firm though, it's not bouncing around in any way. But yeah, I don't know what to make of all that. And under here, as discussed earlier, when we talk about dampness, we've got chipboard decking, so evidently a lot of the original decking was lost to dampness, decay and woodworm infestation. This is the chimney breast beneath the right hand side chimney, that's the brick one. It looks like it's had a bit of a 1980s makeover to me. I mean, it's been infilled, and there's a steel lintel over the top of it. All that plumbing inside is reminiscent of a back boiler, which is no longer there. Well, you can see it's no longer there because it's no longer there. And there's a load of black sooty filth in there. So that will be falling down one of the flues which was not used for the back boiler. So I think this place needs an overhaul, and flues need sweeping so that none of that shit falls out. I mean, you can just imagine, can't you, if you go and refurbish the house and you put some nice new carpets down, and there's a bit on the carpet there. You don't want a load of that stuff spilling into your room. So sweeping the flues, good idea. And what's happened to the other side? That's the one under the stone party wall chimney. Again, a bit of a makeover has been going on there. Nice big timber lintel. Obviously disused, covered over. Might have been swept already. The kitchen and bathroom are all in this single-storey building here. So we've got a fairly good idea what the drains are doing on this occasion. We have an inspection chamber here. That's where the toilet's emptying into. And we've got, so it comes along the garden path here to this one, over there to that one, and it probably goes across the garden, and there's an inspection chamber in the path over there. So let's flush the toilet, see what happens. Obviously the water's going to come out of the building and go into the drain there, whereas I've got to go out the front door and over there, so I'll probably miss all the action. So the most exciting thing I get to do these days is flush toilets, so let's see what happens. There it goes. Oops, this is drain number 2, and it's coming along in a bit of a canter, bit of illustrative toilet. There it goes, yes. And it's going that way, and then presumably we go for a wander down the garden path. Who's going to get there first? This is the exciting thing. I suppose I could run, but I'm not going to. And there we go. So I think those drains are doing all right. They've got plenty of fall to them. Excellent.